Late last night, Donald Trump scared the hell out of the entire world, including MAGA, with a terrifying announcement on Truth Social and his shockingly premature departure from a high level meeting with global leaders, indicating that the hot war between Israel and Iran was about to escalate, as was the United States' direct involvement. And right now, we are still waiting and walking on eggshells to see what happens next. But before we unpack all that, if you end up liking this video and you want to support the channel, please be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and alert bells before you go. All right, friends, late last night, as you may or may not have heard, Donald Trump says everybody should immediately evacuate Tehran, Tehran being the capital of Iran, as Mediaite reports. Donald Trump fired off a cryptic post on Monday night warning Iranians in Tehran to immediately evacuate the nation's capital. His warning came amid rising tensions between Iran and Israel after Israel conducted airstrikes across its longtime nemesis. Several top military officials and nuclear scientists were killed in the bombings. Iran has responded by firing missile barrages back at Israel, which the U.S. helped intercept. Israel's bombing just came 2 days before Trump's envoy to the Middle East was scheduled to meet Iranian officials in Oman for talks. The U.S. and Israel have been long concerned about Iran's civilian nuclear program, which Israel says Iran is intent on using to make nuclear weapons. According to the Wall Street Journal, Trump urged Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu not to attack. On Truth Social, Trump wrote a brief and potentially ominous post. Quote, Iran should have signed the deal I told them to sign. What a shame and a waste of human life. Simply stated, Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. I said it over and over again. Everyone should immediately evacuate Tehran. It's not clear if Trump ordered the U.S. to strike Tehran, if Trump is warning about looming Israel strikes, or if the post is simply bluster. Okay? That was terrifying. That was last night. That scared the hell out of everybody. All right? Now, I'm going to get to the other part, which was Trump's shockingly premature departure from the G7 summit. But on Air Force One, Trump was asked by reporters about his cryptic message to Iranians.
What was the thinking on the call for Tehran to evacuate? Is there a threat or is there incoming? What was the thinking on the full evacuation?
I want people to be safe. And that's always possible. A thing like that could happen. I just want people to be safe.
This morning, the president said he has not reached out to Iran for peace talks.
He just wants them to be safe. Safe from what? Because again, are you indicating that the United States is going to participate in a bombing of Tehran? Do you think that Israel is targeting Tehran with, escalating attacks? Just that was such a terrifyingly cryptic message. And again, it wasn't just the message itself. It was also when you combine it with the fact that Trump left the G7 summit early and ordered the National Security Council to immediately assemble. So again, Mediaite reports, Trump leaves G7 summit early, orders National Security Council to assemble in the Situation Room. This again is from late last night. Trump is leaving the G7 summit in Alberta, Canada, a day early amid escalating hostilities between Israel and Iran. He also ordered that the National Security Council prepare for an imminent meeting in the White House Situation Room. Israel launched a wave of first strikes in what Benjamin Netanyahu called a preemptive attack. Israeli officials have long alleged that Iran is seeking to build nuclear weapons, again, et cetera, and so forth. Shortly afterward, White House Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt announced that Trump would leave the summit early. Trump had a great day at the G7, even signing a major trade deal with the United Kingdom and Prime Minister Keir Starmer. We'll cover that in a separate video. Much was accomplished, but because of what's going on in the Middle East, Trump will be leaving tonight after dinner with heads of state. And so, again, outlets were reporting that Trump would be leaving early, flying back to Washington, D.C., and ordered basically a 3 a.m. meeting of the National Security Council. Again, when you pair that with the cryptic post about evacuating Tehran, pretty terrifying. Also, Trump's behavior following that was pretty erratic as well into the morning. Okay, so Mediaite again, wrong. Trump lashes out at publicity-seeking Macron, denies leaving G7 summit to broker ceasefire between Israel and Tehran. And this one is another demonstration of a different angle of Trump's erraticism, okay? Because Emmanuel Macron, the president of France, I think tried to do Trump a solid, and Trump lashed out at him. Very interesting. Trump denied leaving the G7's leader summit early on Monday to broker a ceasefire between Israel and Iran after French President Emmanuel Macron suggested Trump was attempting to negotiate a deal between the two countries. Quote, the president spoke a few minutes ago to say that there were ongoing discussions, which is a good thing, Macron told reporters at the G7 summit, according to ABC News. Quote, and so if the United States of America can achieve a ceasefire, it's a very good thing, and France will support it, and we wish for it. He says, Quote, it's absolutely essential that all strikes from both sides against energy, administrative, and cultural infrastructures, and even more so against the civilian population, cease. Nothing justifies this, and they are absolutely intolerable. And then, as soon as the ceasefire is achieved, I think the announcements made by President Trump are very positive, and the role that the United States of America will have to play is key. The French alongside them, the British and the Germans, are available to resume serious discussions that we have never stopped. Okay, so again, hyping Trump up. Oh, Trump is amazing. He's so smart. He's going to negotiate some sort of deal. All this is going to stop. Okay? Continuing, after journalists asked the French president how he interpreted Trump's, quote, sudden departure from the G7, Macron replied, quote, listen, this is what I'm saying. Listen, that there's an offer that's been made, indeed, of meetings and exchanges. There's an offer that's been made, especially to have a ceasefire and to initiate broader discussions. And I think this is a very good thing. So now we need to see what the stakeholders will do. So again, hyping Trump up, right? Mr. No new wars. If I were president, the world would be at peace. The world was at peace in my first term. It was not. That's a lie. But this is the notion that Trump tries to peddle for his cultists, and his cultists in turn tried to peddle it for the rest of the world. So you would think that he'd be like, oh, hell yeah, Macron. Yeah, hype me up, bro. Hype me up. I'm definitely going to be trying to broker a peace because I'm the ultimate deal maker. Instead, Trump chose to lash out at Macron, like lash out in a pretty harsh way. He said on Truth Social, quote, publicity-seeking President Emmanuel Macron of France mistakenly said I left the G7 summit in Canada to go back to D.C. to work on a ceasefire between Israel and Iran, Trump wrote. Quote, wrong. He has no idea why I'm now on my way to Washington, but it certainly has nothing to do with a ceasefire. Much bigger than that. Whether purposely or not, Emmanuel always gets it wrong. Stay tuned. I mean, what a weirdly dickish response to someone who is trying to hype you up in ways that align with your own bullshit narratives that you try to peddle about yourself, okay? So, then he goes on to double down on it even more in a subsequent later night post. Fake news! Trump doubles down to reject highly fabricated claim that he abandoned the G7 for peace talks. Excuse me, this was Tuesday morning, I guess early Tuesday morning. Trump slammed claims that he was involved in pushing, quote, peace talks between Iran and Israel as, quote, highly fabricated fake news, and warned Iran missed an opportunity when the regime turned down his nuclear deal. Talking to Truth Social on Tuesday morning, Trump wrote, quote, I have not reached out to Iran for peace talks in any way, shape, or form. This is just more highly fabricated fake news. If they want to talk, they know how to reach me. They should have taken the deal that was on the table. Would have saved a lot of lies, okay? So he's doubling down on, hell no, I have no interest in peace talks. I have no interest in anything like that. People who suggest otherwise is stupid. I'm just like, why would you say that? Why? What is the purpose behind this, like, aggressively erratic sentiment, right? Is he trying to intimidate Iran? Like, Iran, you're screwed. I have absolutely no interest in peace. Now, why is he being so vicious to people who are hyping him up along the lines of a narrative that he constantly tries to sell, that he's the ultimate peacemaker and negotiator? This erraticism is very strange. And again, it scared the hell out of everybody, not just Democrats, not just Iranians, not just liberals, progressives, blue cities, blue states, but it also freaked the hell out of many Republicans, including the likes of Tucker Carlson, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and even other elected Republicans. So, as a consequence of Trump's abrupt departure and his, statement about evacuating Tehran and the increasing signs, not certain, obviously not certain, but the increasing public-facing signs that the hot war between Iran and Israel is about to escalate and the United States involvement might escalate as well, AOC and other Democrats joined Republicans' efforts to prevent U.S. attack on Iran, signing on. So, Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez lent her support to a resolution authored by Representative Thomas Massie, a Republican from Kentucky, that would prohibit U.S. involvement in Israel's attacks on Iran. So, again, it gives the history of it, but Massie said this. Massie announced he will introduce a resolution on Tuesday meant to prevent U.S. intervention. Quote, this is not our war, but if it were, Congress must decide which such matters according to our Constitution. I'm introducing a bipartisan war powers resolution tomorrow to prohibit our involvement. I invite all members of Congress to co-sponsor this resolution. The tweet got the attention of a few Democratic members of Congress who expressed support, including AOC. She replied, signing on. Rashida Tlaib also said she will sign on. I look forward to supporting this war powers resolution. The American people aren't falling for it again. We were lied to about weapons of mass destruction in Iraq that killed millions and forever changed lives. It's unconstitutional for Trump to go to war without a vote in Congress. So did Ro Khanna. Ro Khanna co-signed, quote, no war in Iran. It's time for every member to go on record. Are you with the neocons who led us into Iraq, or do you stand with the American people? I am proud to co-lead this bipartisan war powers resolution with Representative Massey that is privileged and must receive a vote. In the Senate, Bernie Sanders, of course, introduced his own resolution. Quote, another war in the Middle East could cost countless lives, waste trillions more dollars, and lead to even more deaths, more conflict, and more displacement, he wrote, calling a war with Iran illegal. So, we'll see what happens, but there seems to be increasing bipartisan support for it. Trump has successfully terrified the shit out of everybody, Democrats and his own base, or much of his own base, I should say, obviously not all, and much of his own elected party. And again, there's no telling what might happen. This could be bluster. This could be the prelude to something substantially more dangerous and kinetic. But that's where we are. In the meantime, let me know what you think in the comments.